This is going to be a terrific game. Oh, nice shots.
Oh, yeah, that does the job.
It's a beautiful shot.
That's hit beautifully.
The atmosphere here is electric. That'll certainly get him going.
You make me feel so alive.
Well, knocks us down, we get back up.
Edged and gone. 422 for Dale Steyn.
Long live the king.
It's a value game. They tried before, we made them pay.
Bowling, there's the rattle. That is really good stuff from Olivier. He's got himself fired up.
Pakistan 181 all out.
Up goes the finger, yep. And there's the explosion celebration as well.
Gone. There's another one.
Good stuff from the boomer. Gee, he's played nicely. He's been so composed.
South Africa all out for 223.
Mums brought up 50 runs.
50 for Shan Masood.
Oh, we got him. Well, there's a strike after tea. That's out, is it? Yeah, that's out. That is 10 in the match for Olivier.
There's an edge, and it's carried, I think.
Well, Pakistan looked absolutely startled at that result.
Oh, timing, the old Hashim Amla.
A wonderful straight drive for 4 to bring up 50. Victory to South Africa, and they go 1 up in the 3-match series.
Juan the Destroyer, South Africa 1-0 up after Boxing Day brilliance. G'day everybody and welcome to the second Castle Lager Test match here at beautiful Newlands in Cape Town. Glorious conditions, South Africa and Pakistan, as I say, a tremendous start by South Africa in a tough game of cricket, actually, on a tough pitch at Centurion at SuperSport Park, a match that we all thoroughly enjoyed, and it's hard to imagine we won't enjoy the New Year Test match as well. Happy New Year to all of you. I'm joined by Kevin Peterson for the first time this series.
Hello,
Kevin,
Mark.
nice to see you.
It's wonderful to be here. I mean, what better place to come and watch a game of cricket or call a game of cricket?
Possibly nowhere, Sean.
Yeah, it's a beautiful venue, and the South Africans love playing. I think they've only lost one of their last 17, so they'll be looking forward to it. The crowd's always really good, and we enjoy coming down this time of year.
Still conjecture about the pitch here, about the teams here. We're looking to find out more and bring it all to you in the next hour of our preview today. A reminder of what happened at SuperSport Park. Pakistan 181 having won the toss and chosen to bat, and then 190, simply not enough runs, even though they managed to bowl South Africa out for 223, 151 for 4 in the run chase, a little rush of wickets at the end there. Actually, the partnership of Dean Elgar and then the unbeaten Hashim Amla was the thing that saw the South Africans home. So victory by 6 wickets, and impressive. It all began with great excitement after Dale Steyn hanging around on, what was it, 4-2-1, got it to 4-2-2 and went past Sean. Were you watching?
I was watching, actually. Yes, I was watching, and it was absolute pleasure watching him go past Pollock, because yeah, you just need the great players to come to the front and come to the fore, the guys that actually bowl quicker than 76 mile an hour. But it was just so good, and I think what was so special about his career, having played a lot against him, is his partnerships. The Morkel-Steyn partnership, I remember facing him here in Newlands and all over the place. And then his partnership that he's been able to create now with Philander and with Rabada. I think those are the special things that he'll look back on in his career. The wickets are everything, but the partnerships and the wins mean a lot more.
Is there really a danger of him not playing today? There's a whisper that he could miss out.
I'd be very surprised. I saw him doing a few more stretches than normal at the latter part of the last test match. I don't know if it was a groin or maybe a little bit of a calf issue. It all probably goes on which they decide to go team composition-wise. You know, if they play the extra seamer,
he has to play.
No, he will play, I'm sure. But if they go with the extra seamer, then I'm sure they'll be prepared to risk him.
Let's have a look at the moment, because it was very special. Typical Steyn, really. The right line, the right length. Dean Elgar snaffling it at slip, and no one was more pleased than you. The little champagne presentation later, the acknowledgement of hard-earned wickets, because it's a long haul doing what you guys do.
It is. When you've played for a long period, it's sort of like a long service award that you keep picking up the wickets and end up there, rather than getting sledged by Kevin about my bowling. Maybe if I'd played more against him, I could have had some more test wickets. But it's great for him to go past, and he deserves to be on top of the pops. He's a brilliant performer, and let's hope he goes on from strength to strength and get more wickets here in this game.
Yeah.
And yet, by no means was he the hero of the Test match. Man of the match, Dwan Olivier, who bowled with, well, he bowled with great skill. I think that's the first thing to say. He understood the pitch, but he's a strong fella. He hit the pitch hard, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he is. He's really strong. And I mean, he just walked past us here this morning, and he's big. I mean, television doesn't show you the size of people. You walk around and you meet people and you go, oh, I never realised you were so big. Well, Dwan Olivier, he is a monster. And I just enjoy the way that he changed. The first couple of overs, he was looking to nibble it around, and then he thought, you know what, I'm going to change. And I don't know whether that was the captain, I don't know whether it was the bowling coach that said, listen, run in, hit a length, hit the cracks, and bowl as fast and as aggressively as you can.
You picked those short balls out for a reason.
Yeah, 7 of the 11 wickets were through short balls,
Yeah.
and I thought his game plan on that surface superb. Exactly what was required, and also against the opposition, people who do battle against the short pitch bowling and someone who's banging and running in.
Yeah.
He might have to change the game plan. I hear you with regards to what he did, but he might have to be a little bit different here on the Newlands surface. It might not have as much bounce, might not have as much carry. He might have to get the ball a little bit fuller, but as far as identifying what was required on that pitch, he implemented and did brilliantly.
You need a bit of everything, don't you, if you've got a bowling attack that's going to conquer all conditions. Those are the lengths bowled by Dwan Olivier, wickets with plenty of short balls, as highlighted by Sean. And then in contrast, you get KG Rabada, who's all about, well, not subtlety is probably the wrong word, but he's certainly about the use of skill, of movement, of moving a batsman around the crease. Quite a cricketer.
Well, we watched him, didn't we, Mark, in Australia a couple of years ago. We all were there, and I just thought the way his cricket brain, I think, is the thing that impresses me the most. That run out that he had, I think it was in Adelaide or at the Wacker. I mean, he's just so smart and intelligent the way he goes about his business. He's a thinking cricketer. He understands the game, and for such a young man to be able to reverse swing the ball, to be able to bowl the deliveries that he bowls, and also I love his aggression. I know he's been in trouble a little bit with his aggression, but as a fast bowler in the entertainment space that these guys are in, you need that aggression, you need that energy, you need that passion. And I mean, this is great opposition to bowl against Pakistan in South Africa. It's a hard place to bat, but he's a brilliant bowler.
Yeah, he's got that X factor, and for me, the key to his international career is he's found a way to pick up wickets. It doesn't matter what the conditions he comes across, or the opposition, or sometimes it just looks like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
You give the ball to him, if he runs in harder or he gets the ball to swing late, there's just something that happens, and he's always got that energy. He's a wonderful athlete.
Other thing we liked about the South Africans that we pick out, I think, especially this morning, is Temba Bavuma, because this was a very hard pitch to bat on. You needed a technique, you needed a calmness, and I thought Graham summed it up very well. He liked his tempo, Sean.
He did, and he played superbly well. And I think it's been a little bit of a progression for Temba. He was a guy who used to get bogged down a little bit. He ran the singles well, rotated the strike, and also his weight distribution was so much better in that test match than I've seen from him in the past. He obviously can play off the back foot, being a short guy, but those kind of shots, that cover drive where he got that weight forward and played beautifully with nice balance, I think that was a surprise and something different for me from what I've seen from Temba so far.
Yeah, and a couple of things that Sean said there, balance and also rotation of strike. I think as a batsman, rotation of strike is so vital and so key to keeping the energy and the pressure away from you. But his balance there in particular, having watched him when I was in London recently, was just magnificent. I think his balance was something that stood up there.
You've been critical of the lack of hundreds in his career, haven't you? How many is it? 30 test matches?
30 odd test matches, he's only got one test 100. You get judged on your hundreds, but also you get judged on the way that you played, and if he plays like that, he'll get more hundreds.
Okay. Great. Let's move to Quentin de Kock, who, naturally a counter-attacker. We've so often said he's the next Adam Gilchrist, but he played a very different sort of innings here in that crucial period in the first innings where South Africa could have been knocked over cheapish.
He did. It was really good, and his test runs have been difficult for him as of late. He hasn't got as many as he'd wanted to, and it's been difficult for South Africa because they sometimes look to balance the side and they want him to bat at 6. But in order to bat at 6, he's got to be producing more regularly than he has in the last probably year. So it was good to see him back in form. When he's at his best, he just sees ball, hits ball. He doesn't overcomplicate things, and that was more of what we've seen from him in the past.
But that's the hard thing. How do you play in a way and then you go and play in a different way and you get complimented for playing in a different way. We're complimenting him for a bit of restrained batting progress last test match, but you also want him to play the Adam Gilchrist way. So he's got to learn to try and find that mixture, and he's got to try and find that balance between what he's expected to play, but how he actually plays and how it'll benefit the team.
Use your brain, good shot selection, and he certainly, I think, learns almost by the series that he plays. When it comes to shot selection, there's nobody who fights harder, who thinks about it more deeply, or tries harder than Dean Elgar. And he said after the game, didn't he? He said, I should be paid double.
Anybody opening the batting in South Africa in these conditions, you should be paid double. I mean, I'm spending a lot of time with Graham Smith in the last few years, and he always talks about opening the batting in South Africa. And having played a couple of test matches in South Africa and being 1 for 2, 0 for 2 in quite a few of those because of Morkel and Steyn, it's a tough gig. We're soon 3 down.
I think I've got more sympathy for him now. I mean, even Graham at the back end of his career, the wickets were starting to get a little bit dodgy.
Yeah.
I think they're getting worse and worse by the year. I mean, that SuperSport Park wicket wasn't good at all. And the thing about him is he just accepts that part of the job. You know, some people are like, no, I'm not supposed to be hit. I'm supposed to get bat on ball and look pretty and whatever. He's like, I don't care how I look. I'm just there about being involved, getting stuck in, playing to my strengths and getting as many runs as I can. And he actually boasts about all the bruises he's got in his arms. Normally you get them on the inner thigh. Dino gets them on his arms.
Hashim Amla's an interesting character, isn't he? A beautiful batsman to watch when on song. Had a rough time of it over the last year, needed runs badly and found a way in a tricky run chase. Didn't have it easy, dropped early on, but managed to get the old Amla, the wrists and the movement and the fluidity happening.
Yeah, everybody likes that, and sometimes you talk about that luck in the game or those half chances that go for you. And I mean, yes, he could have been caught a couple of times, but he's a brilliant player and he deserves the respect. He has the respect of the opposition. I know playing against Amla in a lot of test matches, Amla is somebody you talk about for 10, 20, 30 minutes. And he got a 300 or 200 against us at the Oval a few years ago. And then it was a 300. Callis got the 200. It was a brilliant partnership. But you talk about these guys for a long time. So sometimes the media from a certain country can get on the back of an individual. But I can tell you something right now. In that dressing room over there, they will be talking about Hashim Amla saying, guys, even though he's been out of nick, he's come into it, but you've got to focus on him.
That dressing room over there belongs to Pakistan, not the room itself, but the players. Let's go for a little walk and reveal what's behind us, because this beauty of Newlands that we talk about so much is mainly because of the place at which it's situated, beneath one of the most famous mountain ranges in the world, and away in the distance, Table Mountain. In our morning preview, we'll focus on Pakistan when we come back after the break.
You make me feel so alive. You make me feel so alive.
Crowd coming into the ground here at Newlands on a glorious day, forecast to be about 27 degrees and clear skies. Yesterday's strong winds have died down, always at a great occasion. They collect under there, the Oaks, and in the way that they've always done. I don't think it's any different now. It's a tremendous place to be, as much as anything, I suppose, because of the shade. But so much interest. The advertising around the city, this is the capiest thing that you can do at this time of year, which is about right. Michael Holding has replaced Kevin Peterson. It is a capey sort of thing to do, isn't it? People love this test match.
Yeah, they do, and people always talk about the New Year's test in Cape Town, and always get a very good crowd, irrespective of who is playing.
Yeah. Well, it's an occasion, I think, as much as anything, an event. Pakistan had good things going on in that test match. We talk a lot about South Africa's 6-wicket win, but I tell you what, there were times in the game where Pakistan had some control, but then they relinquished it. There was some promising batting. Babar Azam, for example, Sean, really shone, didn't he?
Yeah, we haven't seen many of those batsmen on South African shores, so it was always going to be interesting to see how they could cope with the extra bounce and the uneven kind of surface. And three of the batsmen, and Bubba was the first one who really made a stand. And those kind of shots show that he can play on all the conditions. The balance, off the back foot, I think he was absolutely superb in that first innings for his 70. And I'm expecting good things from him as the surfaces maybe get a touch better as we go along in this test series. But I was really impressed by what I saw, particularly the balance and some of those back foot shots.
Yeah, he had a period, Mikey, where in the 3-over spell he took 10 boundaries off Dale Steyn.
Yeah. He looks a good player. And that's the thing with the Pakistan batting lineup. Quite a few of the guys look to be very good players. And a lot of cricketers around the world, Mark, when you look at them batting for a few minutes or for half an hour, they look to be good players. But they do not stay at the crease. At some point, they give their wickets away, which I think is a very bad thing. We see it creeping into cricket all over the world. So many good players look good and then don't spend time at the crease.
Right, well then you'll be pleased with Imam Ul Haq, who we've chosen here as someone who made damn sure in that second innings that he didn't give his wicket away.
Well, that's the way I've got to bat. Let the bowler get you out. As we have seen, a lot of these pitches help the bowlers quite a bit. Not that they're helping the bowlers too much, but there's enough there to encourage the bowlers. So you as a batsman, you have got to make sure that they earn that wicket. Don't give it to them. Stay there. 5 days a test match lasts. 5 days supposed to last. So stay there, give yourself some time at the crease, and eventually batting will become a little bit easier.
I think he was the prime example of what Mark is talking about. I think he edged 3 or 4 of his first boundaries down to third man and was dropped in the slips. And then he got in and he found his feet and he started to look really comfortable. And I think that's what they need, someone who's going to be prepared to fight through the tough spell.
The point of putting the drop in was that the next ball was that beautiful 4, and there's no doubt that he has the mind for it, which is so much a part of playing at this level, actually of any sport, not just of cricket. Shah Massoud, good young player, tall, slim guy. I know he got out in the end to a shot that obviously wasn't the best, but he seems to be able to play off the back foot, which is nice to see.
Yes, well, he's a tall man, so it doesn't seem as if the shorter ball affects him too much, but he looks technically sound. He played some very, very good looking shots. Very technically sound, tall man that can handle the shorter ball, and looks as if he should be getting a lot more runs than he has been getting.
Okay, well, go on, Sean.
He got out to that pull shot, but I was actually impressed by his pull shots. A couple of the abbreviated pulls. It wasn't like wild and willy. It was in control, whack. He got out, I think, 9 down to Dale Steyn, which he'll be disappointed with. But I was impressed by that control of the back foot. It didn't look like it was out of control at all.
I know you wanted to enlarge a little further on this sort of indifference in stroke play. Obviously, 20-over cricket has changed attitudes to batting in the way that 15 years ago we wouldn't have perceived. Mikey, you've picked out 1 or 2 examples.
Yeah, well, I have so many friends who keep on telling me that I'm not working for my money because test matches are lasting 3 days. And this is the reason why test matches are lasting 3 days. That is Azhar Ali. He has not yet even come off the mark and the shot he plays. And that is Assad. The ball is wide of awesome. He doesn't have to be playing at that. Remember, it's 5 days. You can spend time at the crease. Nothing wrong with spending time at the crease. And again there, Massoud, 3 men out in the deep. We saw him pulling and hitting the ball down into the ground previously. That time he decides to try and go over the top with 3 men deep. And what is the brain doing there? 136 runs on the board. They are chasing 149. It's a test match. Why do you need to be playing a shot like that? And we see that regularly throughout test match cricket. Why do you need to be giving your wicket away?
Marky, he wasn't using the brain.
Exactly. And he looks to be a good player as well. The better time he spent at the crease, he looks to be a good player. But if you get out like that, you're going to average 10, which is what he's doing.
There's actually another example, Safraz. I think he got out the second ball, chasing a wide one from KG. It's even worse when the captain gets out in that manner because he should be trying to set the example. I agree with you. We need guys to be able to apply themselves for longer periods.
To dedicate themselves to batting, not just thinking, okay, this looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, the very best players can do it, can't they? Virat Kohli is a good example, does it
Pujara.
Particularly well. He doesn't play 20-20 though.
Well,
it's
true,
slightly different.
True.
He doesn't have to switch between
He doesn't have to switch between the two of them.
But yeah, okay, interesting. Thank you. Let's turn to the Pakistan bowlers. We know Mohammad Amir can bowl. We didn't see him swing it as much as he might have done, but he's a bowler that sort of niggles away at you all day, doesn't he? Never lets go of you.
And he has pretty good control, which is so important. It doesn't matter what you can do with the ball. If you haven't got the control, you're not going to create problems. But this guy has control. He went away from the game a little bit recently because he wasn't getting the ball to swing back into the right-hander. Now he's getting the ball to go in both directions, which is exactly what you're hoping for.
Yeah, I like his smarts. I think he's got the bowling smarts. I think he's learnt from a lot in his past, and if he could get that big swing back, boy, he really still an impressive performer. And then you've both picked out Shaheen Afridi, who bowled with, what is he, 18, 19 years old,
Young
and bowled
fellow.
with real pace, didn't he?
And again, I think he was thinking a little bit about the game. I saw him make a few mistakes there that you would think inexperienced. But other times you see him do things and you say, yeah, he's thinking. But he looks as if he has a good future. He looks to be a pretty good bowler with good future. Not strong yet because he's a youngster, but as soon as he gets a bit stronger, he'll create a lot of problems.
I think we don't look much farther than what we saw from KG Rabada for what he's done as a youngster who's burst in. I think he's got the potential, Afridi, to do something similar for Pakistan.
Yep.
As Marky said, he'll get stronger, he'll get a little bit fitter, but he's got the attributes that looks like he could be a real handful no matter where he goes in the world.
Okay, guys, thank you. Very interesting examination of the last Test match, won by 6 wickets by the South Africans. In a moment, we'll start to throw things forward. In the meantime, the groundsman of the last decade here, Evan Flint, is retiring. He's moving, well, he's retiring from this ground. He's not retiring from the game. He's moving to the Wanderers. He produces fascinating pitches, and a while ago, Crystal Arnold was with him.
Some of the most memorable New Year's tests have been played on a pitch sculpted by Evan Flint and his ground staff. And this could be one of the most special out of them all, as it's the end of an era.
I'm Evan Flint, head groundsman at Newlands Cricket Ground for one last test match. I came here as a, 28-year-old. I kind of knew what I was doing, but I didn't really know what I was getting into. And I spent 10 years at possibly the most beautiful ground in the world. It's hours. Eh? You've just got to put the hours in. It's the Sunday afternoons, the Christmas days. It's that kind of thing. So it's hard work. I'm not under any illusions. I'm sure it'll be as hard at work in Joburg as it was here. But bring it on. You can do the same thing as you did last year and conditions will be different. So I haven't tried anything special or anything different. I just tried the usual so that you can get through it. A lot of the time your grass will give you the pace if you've got a nice firm base, but too much grass can then kind of help the seamers too much. So it's a very fine line, and if you take a bit of the grass out, then it can start to spin early on. So those are the kind of, it's those fine margins that we're dealing with. I think the Highveld's got pace and bounce, and the coast we struggle a little bit more, to get that pace into it. I think because of this beautiful wind that's blowing at the moment, that sometimes you struggle to keep your pace in the wicket. It dries it out very quickly. There's a few cracks there. There is a bit of green grass. Obviously, it's been quite hot lately, so it is starting to brown off, but looks good. Normally about day 3. If everything goes well, then day 3 you kind of start sleeping and you can actually start enjoying the match.
Groundsman's life is not always a happy one, but he's done a great job here. We wish him well at the Wanderers. A moment, there they are. Look at that. Mickey Arthur, the coach, who had strong words to say to Pakistan after the last test match, talking to his captain Sarfraz in the moments before the toss. Let's play Selector now. Robbie Peterson is with Mike Haseman.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Okay, we've got the Selector to have a look at. These are the two teams that played in the last test match. We're going to get straight into them. And the first side we're going to have a look at is Pakistan. Righto, Robbie, let's get in. What are your thoughts initially here? We've got to make some changes because there's a key player coming in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think from a Pakistan point of view, I think Sarfraz, the captain, has come out and said they're going to back their top 6. So I think there's not going to be too many changes there. And that was made a little bit easier with Sohail Harris' injury and him returning home. So I think not too many changes over there. I think he's going to back. We saw Shan Masood, Imam ul Haq and Baba Azam really get some confidence building out of a last test match.
Got to find room for Abbas.
Yeah, Mohammed Abbas. Mohamed Abbas, world class. He has to play at Newlands. Very much Pakistan's Vern Philander. So he'll come straight into the team. I think there were question marks whether they'd play the all-rounder in Fahim, the all-rounder in Fahim. He'd probably look to maybe come in instead of, there was an injury cloud around Shaheen Afridi. Fahim, the all-rounder, would probably come in because Pakistan did look a seamer like last test match.
Okay, so I think that basically that's not going to happen. I think Yasha is going to come in, and Fahim is also not going to play. So where's your other seamer that comes in there, Robbie?
The other seamer, Shaheen, has the injury cloud. He'll come straight in.
Okay.
He bowled beautifully last game.
So that's what we think is going to happen with Pakistan, South Africa. What's your call there? This is interesting.
I think the batting line, pretty much we've seen it be the same for the last while. I think Quinton de Kock coming in at 7, that really leads to a little bit of solidity. I think the only question mark is, where do you get that man Philander at his home ground? There were talks before the test series that he was coming straight into the team. You'd probably be out, Philander would come in terms of before the series. But I think Faf du Plessis did say that he was going to back Duan Olivier prior to the game in terms of that enforcer role. So the only change I'd probably say, they'd be entertaining this, drop the spinner and get Olivier back, in. Keep him in the mix in that enforcer role.
And that's what we think is going to happen, which is quite interesting. No spinner, that's our call. We haven't seen them warming up. The left-arm orthodox hasn't warmed up. Tinus de Bruin was another option. He's been on that. So we think that might be the call for South Africa. So they've gone with all these seam bowlers, no spin, a bit of part-time as Inoga. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But of course, Abbas and Philander have got to come in. Mark, back to you.
Wow, so much activity out here, Hazy. It's difficult for us to work out what's going on. Faf du Plessis has had a long time standing on the crease, not engaging with Safraz or the match referee David Boone, who are just to my left and ready for the toss. Just quickly, Ramiz, what would you do with the Pakistan side?
Make few changes, clearly. Batting has to step up to the plate. Asad Shafiq is not shaping up too well, so they've got to take that important call. You know, he's played 60-odd test matches, but he appears to be woefully out of touch. Get Abbas in, obviously, at expense of Hassan Ali. I think probably Pakistan will make only one change, which I'm not happy with. I think they've got to just shuffle the batting order.
But Haris Sahel isn't fit. And so who is it? Rizwan will play.
He's gone back home, so there's Rizwan, who's a keeper and a batsman. Get Babar Azam playing at number 4 in place of Asad Shafiq. Get him there.
Okay, interesting. That's a challenge. And what would you do? Just quickly, your own view. I know you were strong that Tinus de Bruin should play.
Well, I mean, I just felt that obviously the challenge for South Africa was how they fit Vernon back into the side, especially with the fact that Duan Olivier bowled so well. I expect South Africa, which is surprising to me, not to play a spinner, to go 4 frontline seamers. There is a bit of grass, but in Cape Town, it's always nice to have that safety net. One, with the big wind that can come through here, bowling into that breeze all day, and it can brown out the surface. If the game goes 3 or 4 days, well, into the 4th day, you really want that spinner. But South Africa, I think, will go all out pace attack against Pakistan.
Oh, do you? What do you make of the pitch?
Green.
It is a bit of grass. It generally used to be quite slow, and I think over the last 2 years, Evan, the groundsman we've seen, has managed to get a little bit of pace back into the surface. So it's always interesting on day one to see if it does move quickly or slowly. That dictates a lot of how captains. I think a lot of the captains today will be 50-50. And South Africa with 4 seamers probably have to bowl. Pakistan, I don't know. It's an interesting one. They got the leg spinner. Do they take the gamble that the game will go 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, maybe ball first as well, because they've got Abbas in, so early breakthrough would be required.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Fascinating. I'm going to go to the toss. Don't go away. I need you.
Good luck, Marky.
I need you for the teams when we come back. Okay, well, the captains are here alongside me. And we're ready for the toss. David Boone is the match referee. Proteer, an angry-looking Proteer, a frightening-looking Proteer, is ready to go. Safraz and Faf du Plessis. Okay.
That's a head.
Safraz has won the toss. No? You've won the toss. I thought he called heads.
Good start for you there.
Let's hope I have a better game than that.
Yeah. No, we're going to have a bowl. You know, generally, come to Newlands and it's a little bit slow and you bat first on day one, but we've gone with a 4-seamer attack and we want to get stuck into that batting lineup.
Left out Maharaj, have you?
Yeah, big call. He's been a great player for us. Just looking over the last 3 years of Test cricket here, generally the game doesn't go much than 80, 90 overs, so your spinner only really comes into the play late in the match. And the overs that he bowled the last 3 years hasn't been much. And then obviously the seam attack that we've got, playing against a subcontinent team with a little bit of green grass on it. Yeah, we had a nice selection dilemma, but obviously Dwan bowled really well in the previous test, so he had to come in.
Yeah, no, very difficult selection, and the grass suits you. I imagine too there's a bit of 2 small scores by Pakistan in the last game, so keep them down when they're down.
That's the thing. It's like get back straight onto that horse. Trying to make sure we put some pressure on them. If you can bowl well in this first hour, it's always really, really tricky the first hour. Get some wickets, get into that middle order, and then hopefully the pitch will get better with a bit of sun and a heavy roller towards the end of the test match.
A word for Hashim Amla. There was a sign there that was the old Hashim Amla, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want to say good old red wine, but it's probably not a great comparison with him. Batted really well. Great to see him back scoring runs for us. He's a big player, and hopefully that's the start of great things for him this summer.
And this venue is enough to inspire any cricket team.
Yeah, it's a pretty good backdrop for an office. Even as commentators, I'm sure it's probably your favourite ground in the world. We love playing here. The crowd here is amazing. So it's a great test match. Certainly our favourite in the calendar year.
Okay. Go well. I hope I go better.
Good luck.
Safraz, presumably a toss you would have liked to have won.
Definitely we wanted to bat first.
Did you? Okay, so you're happy enough with the way it's turned out. That's ideal. What about this place? You come to Newlands, you must be happy to play here.
Yeah, definitely we lots of heard about the Newlands. It's a beautiful ground here, so definitely we will enjoy here. So hopefully we will do well, inshallah, there.
And made any changes to your team?
Yeah, we made one change. Abbas is back into the team. Hassan Ali is not playing.
Who's not playing?
Hassan Ali.
Okay. Well, we wish you well. We know this is a very important match.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thoughts there of the Pakistan captain. Okay, well, the toss has been won by Faf du Plessis. I'll come back to Ramiz Raja and Graham Smith. It's interesting, one captain wanted to bat and the other wanted to bowl.
Yeah, very interesting. Sarfraz wanted to bat.
Yeah.
Did he? Oh, interesting. Because you'd want to see off the new ball as safely as possible, and so Pakistan have got now their work cut out. All they've got to do is to make sure they bat 100 overs in this test match, because that's the only way out of this situation for them, because they've been looked to be just a little bit rushed with their approach. Technically, they've been found wanting as well. So things to do, things to iron out, and so first 10-15 overs, if they can remain unscathed, it'll be great.
So it is just the one change, Mohamed Abbas?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to have a revisit to the middle order. Obviously, the top order is not looking that shabby now, because Imamul got a 50, Shan Masood also got a 50, but it's Azhar Ali and Asad Shafiq who need to come to the party. I think that their body language has got to be a lot better. They should be prepared to get hit and not really show any emotions. It's as important as that, and so and they need to bat well, 100 overs at least.
All right, this South African side then, Graham, I think we're all a bit taken aback that they've left a spinner out of a 5-day cricket match, particularly one as accurate and consistent as Kajal Maharaj.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a wonderful performer for the Proteas over the last period of time. He's been reliable. And the big key was how they were going to fit Philander back into the team. And, there is a bit of grass on the surface, and they've just decided against Pakistan. I think if it was a different team, they might have gone the spin. And I just think they feel that the extra pace with the Pakistan batting options that they have is their best form of winning the test match. They've won the toss, they bowled first, they have to make a count now. It's always interesting when you carry those four seamers, one, how the captain uses them, and two, they don't leave the responsibility to anyone else. They all step up and perform. But all in all, the batting lineup for South Africa has been challenged as well. Pakistan are quality, the bowling lineup, and that top 6-7, there's some guys that are under a little bit of pressure as well.
Get us a bit closer to this pitch, because very like SuperSport Park, we've got this sort of crazy paving, big plate cracks, and around the cracked parts of that paving is quite thick covering of grass.
Generally here in Cape Town, you always knew the first morning would do a little bit, but it would do it slowly, that you could react. And what I mean, the ball would move off the surface. You'd have time to maybe adapt as a batter and work hard for the first 2 hours, and then it would get good. And a test match would play out that way and normal deterioration would come in. But so far over the last 2 years, Evan has got a bit of pace back in the surface. So it's moved a lot quicker. The Indian test match we saw last year, it really did nip about at pace on the first morning. I think that's why Du Plessis has bowled first. He's hoping for more of the same. But the cracks here, the bully's different to that in Pretoria, Mark. It didn't really used to play a huge role because it's not as hard. Doesn't tend to get as hard as the surfaces up in the Highveld, Pretoria, Wanderers, and in the cracks for me never really played a huge part in the time that I played here.
And would you expect deterioration in this pitch? Uneven bounce, low bounce maybe?
I would expect minimal amounts of that throughout the game. I think more nip today. It was interesting to see the pace. I think the first morning to see how the ball carries through the keeper is going to set the play up for us, and we'll know a lot more about the surface then.
Okay, anything to add, Rami?
Yeah, I think from batting point of view, I think you've got to treat it as a normal option. Don't look at the green tinge. Don't look at the plates. Just worry about seeing off the first 15, 20 overs as safely as possible. Look to be just a little bit more attacking. Rotation of strike is going to be the key. All those little things that are required to get a partnership rolling. It's going to be tough. I mean, you've got to be a bit lucky also to survive on a track like this. And so Pakistan's batting will be under pressure once again. But fight they must.
Okay, I'm just interested in that sort of quite thick covering of grass around these cracks. Anyway, we shall see. The answer is we can stand here chatting about it all day. In the end, the proof of this pitch will be in the playing. Right, let's turn our attention to Mike Hazeman again.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'm just going to back up what you guys are saying about the pace in this surface, and we look back at India compared with SuperSport Park Test match. Now, let me just point this out. You've got the SuperSport Park Test is going to be red, and you've got Newlands, which is going to be blue. So let's have a look at these characteristics and see what happens comparing to see the difference, right? So there's more pace here, as Graham Smith was saying. There's more bounce as well. There might be just a fraction more seam. I don't think there's much in it because there was quite a bit at SuperSport Park. And spin, I'm not sure is going to come into the game too much, so there's just a little bit as well. But these are the two areas. These are the two areas. I better put it on an area like that, which is going to concern the Pakistan guys. And let's just take this a little bit further as well. And then we can just have a look at the bounce comparison. So here you've got a situation where it's 18 centimetres difference in bounce. So that's quite a bit with the batsman. The red stream, by the way, that is Newlands, India, and the blue stream is SuperSport Park last week. So you've got 18 centimetres difference here. So that's quite a bit, and you can see also it's a little bit quicker as well. So let's get into a comparison now with Mohammad Abbas. Now, Mohammad Abbas is a class act. He's just burst into the scene. He's one of those guys who is really special. There's no doubt about that. And he attacks the stumps all the time in the UAE, and that's what made him take 17 wickets. I think it's for about 10 apiece against Australia, which was so impressive. But what he does, he makes the batsman play the whole time. Attacking the stumps, make the batsman play the whole time, and look at this. I mean, this is hitting the stumps 41% of the time. That is quite remarkable. And also all these dismissals, these white pulsing balls, this is really special stuff from him. Now, as a comparison to this number, and yes, he is bowling more direct to the stumps in the UAE, Vernon Philander hits the stumps when he's bowling on average about 9% of the time to right-handers. Let's have a look at the pitch map now, and we can see this is the more balls that a bowler bowls, the higher this area is going to be right here. We can have a look at this, and this is now to Vernon Philander, so he's a little bit shorter than Mohammad Abbas, and it's going to be interesting to see how much they do adjust throughout this test series. Of course, fuller from Mohammad Abbas because of the low track in UAE, so that's going to be something to watch and to see if he actually just goes back a little bit and just pulls it back with Vernon Philander. One other thing just to have a look at, this is the average delivery to right-handers from both of them, red stream, blue stream, and you'll see that Mohammad Abbas with a red stream, as we swing it around, he tends to swing the ball in a little bit to the right-handers, whereas Vernon Philander tends to swing a bit away from the right-handers. Now, Abbas is going to get more bounce than that. That's UAE again, of course, so the bounce will be pretty similar. The pace, by the way, on average is around about 128 k's per hour in general, maybe 125. There's not much in these, and these guys are two highly skilled bowlers, and this is going to be fascinating to watch. Mark, back to you.
Thanks, Hazy. I'll just Mackay has joined us now instead of Graham. I'm just going to ask Rameez a quick question. How do you think Mickey's gone as coach of this Pakistan side? Because he's been out here for a long time this morning with Sarfraz. He's obviously a very important cog. We heard that he had very strong words to say. He's been chatting to the groundsman about the pitch. He's been trying to get some kind of insight that the South Africans don't have. What do you make of Mickey?
Yeah, I think I like him because he's emotional. He wants this team to succeed. He works well with Sarfraz, and he likes this unit as well. I think he feels there's potential, and he gave them a dressing down as well, which was needed, I guess. And I think it was a wake-up call. The situation might be just a little bit fractious, but that happens when you lose a test match. Obviously, when you're touring, there's a lot more pressure on you, so you've got to deal with it. So Mickey will be hoping for a reversal of performance and fortune, and I'm sure he'll be geeing them up. He's a good guy. He's a good coach. He wants them to learn. He wants them to win as well.
So in truth, though, good guy, we know he is, but in truth, how much difference does the coach make to your performance, do you think?
No, I think from our point of view, it's one of those coaches that you always search for information. You always want to make sure that whatever the decision of the team or the captain, he doesn't do. He doesn't make a decision on his own. He wants to make a round-off decision where everyone is happy.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Just give us a clue how you bowl on this pitch now. Your captain's won the toss, he's chosen to bowl, 4-prong attack. What are your lengths, what are your lines? How much are you making the batsman play? Are you pleased you're bowling on that surface?
I mean, I'll be licking my fingers.
Yeah,
I'll be enjoying seeing the grass, and then we all know that the Cape Town wicket, it really assists you in the first hour. For me, it will be the length that is a little bit fuller. Don't try to be a little bit shorter because he could easily stand up and it can easily be put away, with the good batters. But with the just fuller length, being able to challenge the batsman to come forward, especially now, you look at it, he could swing, he could come back, he could do anything, a bowler loves to do.
Interesting. Okay, so err on the side of fullness rather than shortness. Good advice in general, I think, actually, for bowlers on most surfaces. As for batting on it, well, that now faces the Pakistan openers. One of those is Imam Ul-Haq. Here he is with Hazy.
Imam, thanks very much for your time. Your job at the top is such an important job. How heavily does the rest of the team weigh their responsibility on you as an opening batsman?
To be honest, opener is a difficult job, but the thing is, as an opener, we have to be more mentally strong because the team depends on you. Because if we are batting first or if we are, batting second innings, but we have to give us a start. So the team heavily relies on our openers. So we're really working hard on it. That if you see in the last Test match in the second innings, we gave them a good start. So we were in a very good position, but suddenly we collapsed. But we try in this match, to give a good start to the team. So whenever you give us a good start to the team, it gives you the confidence in the dressing room, and that helps us.
I know you were annoyed when you got out for 57. How comfortable were you feeling?
I was feeling so comfortable when I was on 35 or 40 because the wicket was absolutely, when you are set, the ball really, you can see the ball very nicely, and I was hitting the ball so nicely, and that was the time, we were just, I guess, 30 to 40 minutes away from leading that test match because 100 for 1, and if me and Shan would have a little bit more, we would have done the hard work in that innings, so the things would have changed.
Finally, who was the most challenging?
I guess Rabada was the most challenging because his ball is really very nippy off the pitch, and that was a good challenge to face him. Yeah.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, well, the thoughts of a batsman with a challenge ahead of him this morning. There's a challenge ahead of Vernon Philander too, brought back into the side at the expense of the spinner, but with a brilliant record at Cape Town. He too is with Hazy.
Vernon, when you wake up the morning of a test match at Newlands, do you get extra excited?
Morning, Hayes. Yeah, always excited when you have to come and play at this venue. I don't think there's a better venue in the world. No crowd, no atmosphere, and look at this day that we've been blessed with again. Yeah, there's nothing better than coming down to Newlands and having to get ready for the start of 5 days of cricket.
You've got amazing memories here. Why do you think you play so well here?
I think it's a numerous amount of factors. I think it's obviously my home ground. I know the conditions here. And yeah, I've played most of my cricket here, so I think that's obviously a plus point for me personally. But yeah, look, It's a new day. It's a new game. Start naught for naught, and yeah, hopefully we can do well in this one as well.
Do you like the look of the pitch?
Yeah, it looked like there's a little bit of a green tinge to it. Could probably be a little bit on the slow side this morning, but yeah, I mean, always like I said, it doesn't really matter, what sort of surface has been dished up here. We always love playing here. We're doing well here as a side, and yeah, we're looking forward to this one.
You've got a pack of bowlers, of quicks to work with, but what do you think the key to winning this Test match is?
Look, I think, for us again, it's to really do the basics well. I think, we obviously have Dua now that's coming in as the enforcer, which is exciting as well. But look, I think, the team that does the basics well over the longer period of time normally gets out on top. And I think, we've got to make sure that we do that well over the next 4 to 5 days.
Vern, thanks and good luck.
Thanks, Todd Hayes.
Well, Vernon just held back from saying he was licking his fingers, as you mentioned, Mackay, but he is an expert in his field, isn't he?
Without a doubt. One thing about Vern, he doesn't do anything more extraordinary. He's a simple guy hitting the good area, line and length, perfect wicket to wicket.
And in a word, a nightmare to face now.
Absolutely, because he moves it enough to get the outside edge. Wonderful bowler.
OK, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be time for the anthems.